Alright guys, I'm going to be using a little bit of tire prep today on the Fox body, and we're just going to see what happens. Oh, almost lost it there. Alright guys, I'm letting the Fox body cool down a little bit. And while I've been letting it cool down, I took a little bit of my tire prep here and put some on the ground. And it's not tremendously sticky, but it definitely has a little bit more bite to it than just normal pavement. So we're going to see how that affects the launch. That run there was a 309 with the clutch slipping real bad. $289. Yep, I think it's time to let the ESC cool down a little bit. That run there was a 299. .30 flat. .30 flat again. Just the G-force was a bit higher this time. Alright guys, I got the slipper clutch tightened as far as it would go, so we're going to see what this car does now. Wow, it did not spin at all. Alright guys, I moved out the road because the school bus was coming. That was a 298 again. I'll tell you what though, this thing was right on the limit of spinning. Like, that was probably as much as this car could take. I'll tell you what guys, anytime you're somewhere and you see a little bit of trash on the ground, just take a second and just pick the trash up. It makes the area so much cleaner. Okay, well I'm probably not going to get this whole bag here because it's buried. I don't want my trunk filled up with dirt. Look at all this junk right here I found and picked up. And all I did was walk to about right there, went across the street, went all the way down to about right there, went across the street and came back. Alright guys, so overall I actually enjoyed using this tire prep today. I'd say today was by far one of the best test sessions I've ever done with this car because of how little the car spun. And for the first few launches, I had this stuff simply on the tire. I had just a little chicken strip down the middle, and that was basically it. But then after a few launches, I decided to coat the ground with this stuff to see how the car would launch. And after a few runs, basically the tire prep had come off the tires and it essentially became a dry tire like it is now. So with all the tire prep I had on the ground and the drag slash factory high-speed gearing, this car ended up running a 289, which for this car isn't too bad because this thing's been very slow most of its life, but I know we can do better. One thing I did notice about today was my front shocks. I feel like the front end is just way too stiff. It's not quite soft enough. And what's happening is the front is jacked up, which kind of pushes the rear end down a little bit. And that's how much wheelie bar clearance I have. And that's what holds the screws in. And basically, I feel like the car just isn't squatting enough. It's not transferring enough weight onto the rear tires. So I'm gonna slap the front springs, the stock front springs back on this car. This car currently is sitting on some Stampede front springs, which are a little bit stiffer than stock. So I'm gonna put stock springs back on the front. Hopefully it'll drop the front end down a little bit, so then the car can squat a bit more. And also, it won't immediately just pick the front end up. The front end will have to travel up through the shocks first before the tires come off the ground. Also, I'm going to switch out the shock oil to some 80 weight shock oil. I don't know exactly what the stock weight is. I believe it's a 60 weight oil, but I could be wrong. And I'm hoping what that does is stops the rear end from being so bouncy off the launch. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but this car is extremely bouncy. I like how soft the rear end is, which is good, I think. And all of that stuff should make the car just drive a whole lot smoother. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna make all those changes and we'll test it out in the next video.